So, Jason, I just want to outline for you what I think is going on in the real estate market, not just the housing market. A lot of people on YouTube, a lot of investors talk housing, which to me translates as single family homes. I want to talk real estate market, single family homes, fourplexes, small apartments, office, retail, mobile homes, all this stuff. The banking crisis that we just went through and frankly are still in, I believe is going to have a dampening effect on the real estate market, probably 80% of the real estate market, and probably help 10%. I
Okay.
want to go through this with you, have you ask questions, because this is my experience, my economics kind of all rumbled together, and I may not be communicating appropriately. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So I believe what's going on right now is a liquidity crisis. I believe liquidity is being drained from the banks, regional banks specifically. Regional banks make up 50% of the commercial lending market. That's bad. As liquidity is draining, they are going to increase the cost and lower the approval rating. So we're going to see a lot less commercial lending going on. Obviously, who gets hurt by commercial? Multifamily investors, office, retail, also home builders. People don't realize that home builders fall in this camp as well. So I think what's going to happen very, very quickly is we're going to see a lot less lending, which means deal volume is going to fall even more in commercial. We're going to see a frozen market as sellers and buyers don't yet agree. And there's going to be a lot of pain because this First Republic is just one example. Their loan portfolio for commercial loans is, let's just say, not marked to market. There's some losses in there, and I think it could get a lot worse. On the flip side of this, I think there's only three banks. I shouldn't say banks. There's only three lenders that it's going to get easier to borrow from. Those three lenders are Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and VA, Veterans Affairs, I think. And they're only going to get better for first-time home buyers. So I think most of real estate, it's going to become really, really hard. I think the only part of the market that kind of works is first-time home buyers because Fannie and Freddie are ready buyers for those bonds. So there's a lot going on. I said a lot.
Yeah,
What do you
there's a
think?
lot to unpack. I heard a lot of I don't want to say negativity or doom and gloom, but there's a lot of like clouds on the horizon, right? So where's the opportunity in the commercial space? Where do you see that? Because I know guys like us, we see these things, right? And we start thinking about, okay, here's going to be the opportunity. So if I'm looking for commercial deals, where are those going to come from?
So I think the commercial pain is coming. I think it's going to be massive, but I think we're in the first inning. One of the things that you'll learn about the commercial markets is it's just like singles, it's just bigger numbers. They're going to try to extend and pretend. They're going to try to, add a year, but there will be plenty of pain in commercial. It's going to be most acutely felt in office, right? One of my syndicators and I did a deal review on a $25 million office building in San Francisco. And just with some very rough assumptions, we thought the building would be worth $8 million and might be a teardown.
Jeez.
It went from 90% occupant to 23% occupant. Rents are down like 30. I mean, it's just a horrible. But again, think about that. It traded at 25 million and might be worth 8 million today.
So let me ask you about that because I do have a question
Sure.
about that. So let's say
Perfect.
that office building in San Francisco, right? It's the occupancy is down to 20% now, right? Do you see that occupancy going back up to 90% or full, or are they going to have to change the highest and best use of that particular property to something else?
I think there's a lot of office buildings like this one that are just they're functionally obsolescent in today's environment. They're too old. They can't be reconfigured easily. It's not on the right street because there are some assets that are new and shiny and will lease up just fine.
Yeah.
But in an environment where everything was leased in San Francisco heading into 2020, and now you're 20% occupied, it doesn't make sense as an office. So it will either become a conversion. I think storage is probably the easiest conversion with my little bit of research, right? Vertical storage facilities. I think a lot of people want it to be multifamily. I think that's far more expensive than people realize. But there will absolutely be many office buildings sold at land value that will just be torn down and rebuilt as something else. Even the Empire State Building. One of the investors I talked with who does deals in New York and Manhattan specifically, he's like, they're actually considering turning the Empire State Building into multifamily.
Wow.
This is a huge problem and will be a huge expense and opportunity.
So where is the opportunity at on the 10%, right? So you said 80-90% of the market is going to feel some pain, right? What's that 10% that is going to be
creating a product for first-time home buyers below the median? That's the only market that will function, because again, banks can get those loans done. They have this thing called buyer approved eligible, right? The box that Fannie and Freddie put people in. If they get approved eligible, they're going to buy. So you will only see me play below the median, won't touch above that. In fact, I'd want to be 10 or 15% below the median, but plenty of opportunity if you're feeding first-time home buyers. And the problem, the bigger problem, and also our opportunity, is home builders can't play there. Given the current configuration, the cost of construction, the zoning, they want to play median up.
Yep.
They got to get off their ass. Pulte said this, but I haven't seen anything yet. They got to build smaller homes. They just do. And they'll just be able, dude, you know how many buyers they would have for like a new 3-2, 1,200 square foot home? It'd be crazy.
It's crazy. But it's interesting. The first house that I bought in Fresno was 180,000, 3-bed, two bathroom, 1,200 square foot new construction, right? And those don't exist anymore. Like in our market, they don't. So I agree with you 100%. I feel like the person or the investor that can control that first or second time home buyer inventory is going to have some leverage. And so I know that's a space that you and I both operate in. So that's exciting news for us.
It'll be the only space I operate in for the foreseeable future.
Yeah,
let's be very clear.
That's right. Let me ask you this. What is your opinion of interest rates, the mortgage rates? I know those have fluctuated, and this stuff with the bank kind of created, maybe a little bit more positive news for rates, right? What do you foresee in the short term?
I love making wild ass guesses. So I put out a comment, and I'll say it again here, that by April 15th, so less than 30 days away, the 30-year mortgage rate will be below 6. That's what I currently think. But people need to realize, I say that, and people think real estate's going to go to the moon. The lending criteria is going to be so tight. People don't realize rates can go down, but lending can go down also. People are used to thinking, well, rates are down, lending's going to explode. No, we're on the cusp of deflation. This could be a big problem. But yeah, so I think rates are going down, but I think borrowing money gets much harder even though rates are down.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting when in February, I think they dipped into the 5s. It was like 5.99. And I saw just such a huge spike. And I think we talked about it on one of our shows. It was just like the spike in activity. I had a bunch of inventory that was sitting from 2022. Almost all of it got accepted offers on within 2 weeks. Our showing activity was crazy. So I think if it goes below a 6 again, I think that's going to be the tipping point where we see a lot of these buyers that are on the fence just get back in the market. So
again, it's all the first time buyers, right? Again, I feel so bad for the first time home buyers. We go below 6, we get all of this marginal demand back, but there's no freaking inventory.
There's nothing. Yeah.
Nothing. There was a little bit in February and March. That's gone. There's nothing there. And again, the big question, this is the big question, Jason. I think on one of your stories, I saw you say the same thing. And I actually was quoted in Fortune. I was featured in a Fortune article last week about interest rate lock-in, right? So your big house in Fresno, I think you have a 3% mortgage. I think I saw
3.0%. Yep.
Yeah. 3.0%. And in your post, you're like, I'm not moving. That was basically the point, right?
Yeah.
So even if rates come sub 6, 5.99 again, you're not moving, right? That's a double.
Yeah.
So somebody asked me the other day, what rate unlocks the move up buyer? Because let's be clear, right? Jason, if rates got low enough, you could move up. You could, trade A and go B, even though you got a great pad now, you would at least consider that.
Yeah.
What I put out there was rates would have to get down to 4%.
4. Yeah. I was just going to say 4 too.
Yeah.
Because at 4%, anything above that, it feels like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Like I'm giving up too much with the rate that I have now. And in my opinion, I was talking with somebody else about this, that like having a property with an interest rate that low is an asset. Like that's such a huge asset. So you have to be like very cautious. And I think most people are like, why would I sell? You know what I mean? And so the big question for me is where the house is going to come from. You know what I mean? Like the inventory's got to come from somewhere. And I don't know, like, I still don't know. We're not going to build our way out of this problem, right? We're not going to see a wave of foreclosures. all the trade up buyers and the people that typically sell every 3, 5, 7, 8 years or whatever the number is, those people are probably going to be locked in and staying. The other people that are like baby boomers, and you talk about this too, like that normally would trade and then like downsize, they're not going to go anywhere either. You know what I mean? So it's just, the inventory's got to come from somewhere. It was a very eye-opening statistic. I think the last time we got together and talked, when you showed your spreadsheet and you showed how much the transactions have dropped, and it's just like, geez, man, I don't know. These houses got to come from somewhere, and I don't know where they're.
Well, again, that's the opportunity for guys like you and I that are disciplined and focused, have a networking history. You more than me, right? You could be busy all year turning junk, slumlord, junk into first-time homebuyer homes, and they'll sell.
Yep.
Right. So it's a crazy time. Again, I think the market is going to surprise a lot of people. I think a lot of people think rates going down, housing's going to the moon. I think luxury market's dead. I think move-up buyer is dead. I've just quoted in Fortune, this article out. It's basically and actually on Instagram, people have been taking the quote from the article that says the 3% mortgage is the best asset homeowners have. And it's true.
That's it, man. Yep.
Yeah. So Jason, do me a favor. You put out a lot of free stuff in our first video today. You talked about a creditability package. You talked about deeds and notes and all of this stuff. You give away so much more at your website. What is it?
JasonPritchard.com, guys. Just go to my website, sign up. It's completely free. We have a documents and resources tab, and we have resources, all access to all the resources that my team and I use every day in our business, right? So things that you need for private lending, for negotiating deals, for analyzing properties, all that stuff's up there for free. Go up there, check it out, drop me a message, and let me know if I can help you.
Awesome. And also give him a follow on Instagram. Send him a note, tell him you came from One Rental at a Time. Thanks, brother.
Thank you.